Most people think booking an Alaska cruise is straightforward. Pick a ship, pick a date, and cross your fingers for good weather. But Alaska doesn't work like that. The exact same cruise route can feel like a completely different trip depending on whether you sail in May, July, or September. One month gives you quieter ports and lower fares. Another gives you warmer days and nearly endless daylight. Another might give you your best shot at wildlife, or even a rare chance to see the northern lights dancing across the sky. That's what makes Alaska one of the most thrilling cruise destinations on the planet, but also one of the easiest to book at the wrong time. Because when you choose your sailing date, you're not just picking a week on a calendar. You're choosing which version of Alaska you're most likely to experience. In this video, we're going to break down the best time to cruise Alaska for weather, price, crowds, wildlife, and even the northern lights, because the right month can completely transform your trip. But here's the thing nobody tells you before you book, and it changes everything. Alaska cruises only run during a limited season. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Alaska is not a year-round cruise destination. Most Alaska cruises operate during a short seasonal window, typically starting around late April or early May and running through September. Some cruise lines push sailings into early October, but the core season is still much shorter than what you'd find in the Caribbean or Mediterranean. That limited window is exactly why timing matters so much. A cruise in early May can feel worlds apart from a cruise in late July, and a September sailing carries a completely different mood from a peak summer departure, even if the ship visits the exact same ports. Early season cruises appeal to travelers who want lower prices, fewer crowds, and a more relaxed atmosphere on board. But they also bring cooler temperatures and a quieter, less polished feel in some port towns. Peak summer sailings deliver more daylight, warmer conditions, and a fuller schedule of activities, but they come at a higher cost and with bigger crowds. Late-season cruises often offer strong value, but you'll need to stay flexible with weather and outdoor plans. So instead of asking which month is automatically the best, it helps to first understand that every part of the Alaska season has its own personality. And the thing most travelers notice first, from one month to the next, is the weather. The weather can change the entire feel of your cruise. Weather is one of the biggest factors in choosing an Alaska cruise, and also one of the most unpredictable. Even during the heart of summer, Alaska can shift from clear blue skies to cold rain, thick fog, or gusty wind in a matter of hours. The goal isn't to find a month with guaranteed perfect weather. It's to choose the timing that gives you the best overall balance for the experience you want. May is often one of the drier parts of the season. That can make sightseeing, photography, and exploring ports on foot much more comfortable, especially if you're hoping for crisp, clear views of glaciers, mountains, and coastal scenery. The trade-off is that temperatures run cooler, so you'll want to pack for chilly mornings and cold time out on deck. If warmer weather is your priority, the middle of summer is usually the safest bet. Mid-July through mid-August typically brings the most comfortable temperatures, and June and July offer the longest daylight hours, which is a massive advantage in Alaska because so much of the experience happens outside. Watching the coastline slide past from the deck, sailing into a dramatic fjord, or standing outside during scenic glacier cruising, all of it feels different when you're not doing it in the dark. But the best weather window also brings the biggest crowds and the highest fares. That's where price starts to matter. The lowest prices are usually found outside peak summer. If saving money is a real priority for you, the middle of summer is not where you'll find the best deals. Alaska cruise prices climb when demand is strongest, and demand peaks during the warmest months and school vacation windows. That's why travelers focused on value tend to target the shoulder season, the sailings near the beginning or end of the cruise calendar. Late April, early May, September, and sometimes early October can be noticeably more affordable than peak July dates. These sailings may also unlock cabin upgrades that would cost significantly more in peak season, like balcony cabins, which can feel especially worthwhile on an Alaska cruise when the scenery is passing right outside your door. Comparing price the right way matters. Look at the full trip cost, not just the cruise fare. Alaska trips often involve airfare, hotel nights, transfers, excursions, and sometimes extra travel days on either end. A cheaper cruise can quickly stop feeling like a deal if flights are expensive, or if the itinerary requires complicated logistics. Later in the season, port towns may also offer end-of-season deals in shops, though excursion options may be more limited and outdoor plans more weather-dependent. The smartest deal isn't always the lowest number on the screen. It's the sailing where the fare, flights, hotels, excursions, and overall experience all fit together in a way that actually makes sense. Crowds are heaviest when the weather is most convenient. Alaska may look wild and remote in photos, and in many ways it is, but during peak cruise season, some of its most popular ports can get seriously crowded. July tends to be the busiest period because it aligns with warmer weather, long daylight, and summer vacation. It's simply the most convenient time for most families to travel, so demand rises accordingly. And here's something many first-timers don't realize. The crowd level in port isn't just about your ship. It depends on how many cruise ships are docked that day. When several large ships arrive at the same time, small Alaskan towns can quickly feel overwhelmed around shuttle stops, tour meeting points, restaurants, shops, and popular viewpoints. Shoulder season, April, May, and September, often delivers a noticeably calmer atmosphere. Fewer families are traveling during the school year, so ports feel easier to move through, excursions feel less rushed, and the ship itself tends to have a quieter, more relaxed energy on board. Your ship choice matters here, too. A large family-focused vessel sailing during school holidays will feel far more lively than a smaller ship, or a sailing outside peak vacation windows. So if you want Alaska to feel more like a genuine wilderness experience than a theme park queue, pay attention not just to the itinerary, but to the month, the ship size, and the kind of passengers that sailing is likely to attract. Wildlife sightings depend on the month and the animal. Wildlife is one of the biggest reasons people dream about an Alaska cruise. But the most important thing to understand is this. There's no single month where every animal shows up at once. Different species are more active and more visible at different points throughout the season. Whales are one of the most popular draws. Humpbacks can be spotted during much of the Alaska cruise season, but June and July are often strong months for whale watching. That said, every outing feels different. One group might see multiple humpbacks feeding and surfacing nearby, another might only catch a distant spout, or a fluke disappearing underwater. Nature doesn't follow a cruise itinerary. Bears tend to be more timing sensitive. Late June through early August is generally a better window for travelers hoping to spot them, especially on dedicated bear viewing excursions out of ports like Juneau or Ketchikan. These tours put you closer to known bear habitat and improve your chances, but sightings still depend on local conditions, weather, and animal behavior on that particular day. Bald eagles are more flexible. They can be spotted across the entire cruise season. What shifts is what they're doing. Earlier in the season, they may be nesting. In summer, they're often feeding or tending to young. Later in the season, younger eagles become more active and visible. The smartest approach is to match your sailing date to the animal you care about most. If wildlife is just a welcome bonus on top of the overall experience, almost any main season sailing can deliver memorable moments. But if whales, bears, or eagles are a central reason for your trip, timing your cruise around that specific goal makes the whole experience feel far more intentional. Northern Lights are a bonus, not a promise. The Northern Lights are one of the most tempting reasons to consider a late-season Alaska cruise. As the cruise season winds down and the skies grow darker, September gives travelers a better theoretical window than the bright summer months of June or July. But this is where expectations really matter. Seeing the aurora from an Alaska cruise is genuinely possible, but it requires several things to line up at once. You need dark enough skies, clear enough weather, sufficient aurora activity, and the right conditions from wherever the ship happens to be. If the sky is overcast, which it often is along southeast Alaska's coastline, even a strong aurora forecast won't translate into an actual sighting. It's also worth noting that Northern Lights viewing is generally better farther north. An Alaska cruise can offer a chance, but it should never be treated as a guaranteed aurora experience. None of that makes late-season sailing any less worthwhile. It simply means the Northern Lights should be treated as a possible bonus layered on top of the cruise, not the main reason to book. If they appear, it becomes one of those unforgettable, once-in-a-lifetime moments. If they don't, the trip still needs to stand on its own through the ports, the scenery, the wildlife, and the overall Alaska experience. Choose the month that matches your main priority. Here's the honest answer. The best Alaska cruise month is different for every traveler. It depends entirely on what you'd be most disappointed to miss. If you want the most comfortable overall experience, peak summer is usually the way to go. Longer days, more daylight for scenery, and a better shot at mild weather, it's the most classic, accessible version of an Alaska cruise. The trade-off is higher prices, bigger crowds, and busier ports. If value and a quieter atmosphere matter more, the shoulder season makes a strong case. Early or late-season sailings often come with lower fares and a more relaxed vibe, but you'll need to be flexible. Cooler temperatures, more limited excursion options, and more weather-dependent outdoor plans are all part of the equation. If your trip is built around nature and wildlife, let the animal guide your date. Whale watchers often lean toward early or mid-summer. Travelers hoping to see bears tend to do better from late June through early August. And those chasing darker skies and a slim shot at the Northern Lights might look toward September, while keeping realistic expectations firmly in place. The smartest question to ask isn't, what's the perfect month for Alaska? It's what kind of Alaska cruise do I want to come home talking about? Once you know that answer, the right sailing window becomes much easier to find. Because in Alaska, the best cruise isn't the one with perfect conditions. It's the one that delivers exactly the experience you came for,